Go
Yeah,
live. All right. We are kicking off Google Local Business, just going live here. Hello, everybody. We are getting ready for another Rise live stream, Google for local businesses. We're just getting started over here, so we're going to give everyone just a minute or two to start settling in. But until then, why don't we just start off with some introductions. My name is Ben Lund. I'm the founder of Rise Marketing Group, and been leading Rise over the past 5 years. Prior to Rise, I was at Google, and before Google, I was at an ad agency, and before ad agency, Yahoo. So I've definitely been in the industry for quite a long time, since 2005. But Rob, why don't you share with everyone your role at Rise and specifically your role with the small business segment.
Sounds good. Hi, everybody. My name's Rob. I'm one of the account leads here at Rise. I've been with the team coming up on 3 years now. And yeah, recently been heading up we're calling the small business segment. Yeah, it's kind of just focusing on kind of the unique, sometimes needs of small businesses and a lot of local businesses. And the need to move quickly and be flexible. Yeah, just it moves quickly in small business, and you need to be flexible. So that was how we landed on a new small business segment, and so far so good.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and Rob has been super critical in just supporting our small business clients. We work with a lot of different clients. We work with e-commerce clients. We work with scalable lead gen, and we also work with a lot of small businesses that need help. Just like any other business, they need to promote their business to gain new customers and grow revenue year over year. And what Rob does extremely well is promote these businesses, and we use a variety of tools, but Google is one of the main tools that we use to promote businesses and see the most success. So we're super excited to kick off this webinar because we're really going to go into all the products and services that Google offers specifically for small businesses. And of course, there are other platforms out there such as Meta and Facebook and Instagram, but in our experiences, if you can master Google and if you can master everything that we're about to share here, your business is going to be on a really strong trajectory. So that's why we specifically chose Google, because they've been innovating so much to really support small businesses. So I'm going to jump into an agenda here on our next slide. And so what are we going to cover today? We're going to cover one, why Google? Again, why start off with Google versus Meta, Instagram, or any other platforms like TikTok? They're all great and they all have their own purpose for promoting businesses, but specifically for the small business segment, we believe that Google is the best platform, at least to start off with. From there, we're going to go into a couple of different products and services that Google offers. So one, Google My Business or Google Business. It's a free platform. Every business that's watching or watch the recorded video should absolutely get in with that. Next, we're going to talk about Google Local Service Ads, get into what they're all about. Very interesting ad platform because you only pay per lead, so definitely want to stay around for that. And then we have normal Google text ads and how businesses should think about that. And then lastly, we're going to put it all together, whereas if you are able to optimize and be present on Google Business, optimize and be present on local service ads, and be present on Google text ads, you can really own the real estate for your local market. So there's a lot of opportunity to be had. So with that, let's jump into the first slide. So Rob, I mean, I teed up a little bit, but why don't you just share to anyone who's watching, why should a small business start off with Google?
Yeah, I mean, seems like an obvious answer. Google's obviously a huge platform, and I think we all use it probably on a daily basis. But when you start to look at the numbers, the numbers just don't lie. Majority of internet journeys start with Google. start with search. There's a ton of touch points across all Google products like YouTube, Google Business Profile, like we're going to get to. Um, and I know I think we had a trivia question, if anybody's quick with math, but to get a sense of how wide-reaching Google is and really paint the picture of why your business should be on Google.
Yeah, it's amazing some of these stats. 99,000 searches per second, but there's other search engines out there. Bing, we do love Bing, and Yahoo, AOL, DuckDuckGo, but anyone on the chat, if throw out a guess of just what you think the market share is that Google has of all the searches. So for example, do they own 50% of all searches that are conducted on Google, or is it 75% or 90%? But anyone who want to guess, feel free just to drop something in the chat. Every time I look at this metric, I'm always a little bit surprised on how massive Google got, especially considering years ago I used to work at Yahoo, and Yahoo back in the mid-2000s, that was a big search engine. Not so much anymore, but anyways, I'll give out the answer here. So 91%, almost 92% of market share Google has of search, at least in the US, which is just mind-boggling. But again, that all gets into why you should start with Google. And for any business, it could easily be distracting of, all right, I got to be on Facebook, and I got to do Instagram, and I got to figure out a TikTok dance. I'm kidding on that part, but you can easily get distracted. But start with Google, and you're going to be in a really good space, and then you can always expand from there. So yeah, Rob, super interesting stats, but again, that's why you should start. And then another point that you made on the slide is Google's always innovating on their tools. So unlike other platforms, and we love Meta, we love Facebook and Instagram, we use them quite a bit, but at least for the small business segment, Google has been definitely innovating quite a bit on a lot of their tools, and a lot of their tools that we're going to show right here in a second. So let's start off with this. So I teased up in the agenda that we're going to talk about Google Business, we're going to talk about local service ads, we're going to talk about Google text ads, and then Performance Max. But the way this presentation is structured is we're actually prioritizing what to start off with first based off of where we see that you're going to get the most amount of impact. And that number one priority is the Google Business Profile, formerly called Google My Business. So Rob, why don't you take a few moments, tell us exactly what the Google Profile is all about.
Yeah, so like Ben mentioned, this is a 100% free tool from Google for businesses. I guess probably the best way to think of it is as a kind of a social profile for your business on Google. And Google Business Profile is one place where you can display contact info for your business, images, reviews, anything from business hours to Q&A and notes and announcements. So it's sort of your first impression for when a customer might find you on Google. So you only get one chance to make a first impression. So you want to make sure you're the one in control of your Google Business Profile, and that you're optimizing it as well.
Yeah. And what I love about it, most businesses do, is that number one, the first bullet point, it's free. So why not take advantage of it? And Google has made it very easy to set up. It really doesn't take a ton of time and effort to set it up, but you do have to set it up correctly. And I'm just going to take a moment just to look at our chat. Love any comments that come through. Anyone does have any questions, feel free to drop them. Misty Breeze, always a pleasure to have you join our live streams. We'll follow up on your questions as well. But Google Business Profile, it is definitely essential that you set this up. And Rob, I love how you put it. It's a social profile for your business. Everyone has their own social profile. This is the profile for your business, and you want to put your profile, your business, in the best chance to be found on Google. And And let's just talk a little bit about the why. I mean, we talked a little bit about Google in general and how massive it is and how it's so important for businesses to be present on Google, but specifically talking about the Google business profile. Why should businesses be there? So, Rob, you have some really interesting stats here. Do you mind sharing with us?
Yeah, pretty impressive numbers, but kind of goes without saying when you see them that um, you need to have a Google business profile, and it needs to be optimized because, like you see with the numbers, that it's just a huge difference between having one and not having one, and then having an optimized versus unoptimized profile. So again, it's a way to control your business's first impression with existing customers or new customers. Um, and really what you want to do is just make it easy for customers to find you and for them to find answers to the questions they have, such as where you're located, what kind of services you offer, what's the inside of your storefront look like, anything that might paint a better picture in their mind of what they're going to encounter when they do eventually reach out. Um, so yeah, it's just like we said, it's a 100% free tool, and the sign up is actually very easy. Google makes it very easy to go through all the process of signing up, verification, adding information, etc.
Awesome. Awesome. And yeah, and just these stats speak for themselves. I mean, anyone who has a business profile receives 7 times more clicks, more likely to attract any on-site visitors. Just makes a ton of sense there. Now, Rob, why don't you just share with us some of the best practices, because you can't just create the listing and just set it and forget it. As with anything, you get what you give. So why don't you just share with us a little bit about best practices for that Google business profile?
Yeah, I guess the rule of thumb is to try to keep Google happy and try to put your mind in or put yourself in the shoes of someone at Google and what they would want. You know, obviously they want Google users to have a great experience on Google products. So um, basically, happy Google means happy customers. If they're finding the information that they need um, with your business profile, your contact info is easy to find. And then even little things like making sure you're updating your photos sort of regularly. Google loves new novel information, so new photos, uh, Q&A. There's even a Q&A section for business profile where you can answer frequently asked questions. You can make updates and posts like announcing sales or new services you're offering. And Google, that's kind of information that Google loves. They love, um, like I said, when it's easy for customers to find answers to their questions, and and when they have a good experience on Google, Google likes that. Kind of tends to reward the advertiser for that.
Yeah, it's so true. And we see that across everything. The more you give to Google, they're just going to reward you for it, because they're all about a good user experience, and they're not going to show a listing that's just half baked, because it's not going to be a good user experience. And why should they rank it number 1 on that the local profile? But just give Google all the information as you can, and definitely solicit those reviews. Now, a lot of businesses, they might feel a little weird on asking reviews, but do it. If customers have a great experience with your business, they're gonna be more than happy to leave a review. So ask those reviews. Super important, as Rob mentioned. Update the photos, and this illustration that you can see on the screen is a great example. So 2 companies, all pertaining to dog walking. And you just kind of have to ask yourself, which one am I going to call? You're going to call the one on the left that, yes, they have a Google profile, but zero information, and then it just looks like the Google street car just took a picture of the side of the road? Or are you going to go to the one on the right that has a ton of great reviews, pictures of their pets? You're going to go with the one on the right because it has so much information. So just make sure that that profile is fully built out and you're always getting reviews. And there's even a component on Google Business where you can even post updates. So very similarly how you may have blog posts and you'll post it on your website, you can also post that on the Google profile. Now, do I think a lot of people go to the business profiles to look at all blog posts? Probably not, but just by engaging with that and sharing that content, one, elevates your presence, and then two, Google will reward you because you're using their product. So that's...
To add,
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Ben, just to add to that, another great point you made earlier was reviews. And great to reply to reviews, good and bad. It's just a way Google can see that you're interacting, you're providing information. They love to see that. So I've had clients ask if it's worth deleting poor reviews or negative reviews, or even just some of the kind of crazy spammy ones that come in. You may want to delete the crazy spammy ones, but don't be afraid to leave some of the negative reviews up and maybe reply to them with a professional reply and maybe reach out to rectify whatever issue they had. Goes a long way, and I think people can see that in the reviews, and it adds a little bit of that human element to your online presence.
Excellent point, because I also get that question, and it's only natural. It's very rare you'll ever see a Google business profile with 100 5-star reviews, not even a 4-star or a 1-star. Every business, no business is immune. You're going to do the right thing, deliver as scoped, or deliver a product that was as expected, but you're just going to have an unhappy customer that was maybe just having a bad day and then they took it out in a review. So even if you get dinged to 4.5 out of 5 stars, you're going to be okay, but acknowledge that review and then just kind of say, really sorry, and try to work it out separately. But it's not the end of the world if you do get that occasional 1, 2, 3-star review, knowing that 9.5 times out of 10, it's going to be a 5-star review. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, Rob. So that's Google Business. On the poll that we just had, it looks like a few people do leverage Google Business. I would continue to strongly recommend it. And I feel most businesses know about that. Now we're going to pivot into more of the unknown products and services that Google offers for small businesses that we strongly advocate for and recommend. And the first one is Google Local Service Ads. So this is a very interesting ad format that Google has been testing and rolling out over the past 8 years or so, and across our client base we see a lot of success. But Rob, why don't you just share what are Google Local Service Ads?
Yeah, so local service ads are very similar to business profile, but it's starting to get into paid ad territory. It's specific to service-based businesses. So think like contractors, daycares, etc. And it's a way to stand out from the competition where, again, it's sort of the paid element. Your business listing and appear at the top of the search engine results page, along with some competitors if they're also running service ads. But it's a way to stand out from the pack with, like you see there, a headshot, some reviews, and you see in the screenshot a Google screened badge just to add a little more legitimacy to your local business listing.
Yeah, and this is such an interesting ad format because, and I feel like Google that did this intentionally to support small businesses because, yes, you have the standard text ads that you see on Google. Type in locksmith near me, mechanic, whatever, and you're going to see those. But what's been happening over the past, call it 10 years really, a lot of lead aggregators and larger companies have just been jumping into the ad auctions and buying up all that real estate. So for example, Angie's List, it might be hard for a local contractor to compete with Angie's List for some of the standard text ads. And then so Google rolled out Google Local Service Ads, which if you're an aggregator like Angie's List, you can't be present on this. And for the local service ads, you're number one on the real estate, but you do have to be a legitimate business. Google will actually screen you. You have to upload business docs. So it's not the most time consuming process, but it does take a few weeks to get screened. But then you're right up on top. And what's most interesting about it, in my opinion, you only pay per lead. So it's an auction based on how much you're willing to pay per lead. So really great, where you can tell Google, hey, I want to be present, but I don't want to pay for clicks. I want to pay for leads, and you can set what that lead value is for you and go from there. So super interesting ad format. We're seeing a lot of success from our clients that are using it. And frankly, the biggest feedback from our clients is they actually just want more leads from it. But oftentimes you do hit a little bit of a ceiling there. But so let's talk a little bit about what types of businesses are local service ads for. So Rob, why don't you just share high level for anyone who's watching now or in the future, what types of businesses are eligible for local service ads?
Yeah, so well, like the name suggests, service-based businesses. So you see some categories listed there: home services, business, health, learning, care, and wellness. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a physical location. So if you don't have a storefront or a brick and mortar location, that's okay. Think like a realtor, plumber, contractor. But you do need to have a verified business profile with Google before you can advertise on local service ads. So definitely get your business profile up and running, go through the verification process, etc. And then if you don't see your business type or category listed, Google is still rolling this out. So it could be something to check back in on in time and see if your business is eligible.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, for anyone who's watching, unsure if their business is eligible for local service ads, feel free to check out our website. We'll put it in the chat. Happy to explore that with you. But it's an excellent platform for local businesses and a pretty strong return. But so with that, once you do create that local service ads account, Rob, why don't you just kind of share maybe some of the best practices for local service ads?
Yeah, and again, Google loves information. So the more information about your business you can provide them in the local service ad interface, the better. So you definitely want to have a headshot like the examples you see there, high quality headshot especially. You can add the geographic locations you serve, and you want to keep that list updated. Business hours, how to contact you. Another good one is to add the years in business. It's just a good way to stand out. It might be tempting to overstate your years in business, but honesty is the best policy. Definitely don't embellish there. Google has a way of finding out. So honesty is the best policy. Just keep all that information up to date. And then again, try to interact with your potential leads and customers via Google Business Profile. It does have kind of a downstream effect on your local service ads. So again, just keep everything up to date, refresh information when you need to, and give Google as much information as you can, and let it optimize.
Yeah, we're definitely running to a theme. Give Google as much information as you can, and really that we're not talking about SEO today, but really that even spans to other marketing tactics that you want to do better on Google. SEO is one, and you just want to give Google as much information as possible so that way they understand all aspects of your business, so that way you can rank. Same for local service ads and things, and also same for the business profile. So just to recap, so far we talked about the Google Business, priority 1, and then priority 2, the Google Local ads. Now we're going to go back into more of the tried and true Google search ads. And when I say Google search ads, that's pretty much Google's first ad product that they rolled out probably about over 20 years ago. And those are those text ads. So whenever you do a search, those text ads that you see right at the top of the search engine results page, still massively popular and also very effective, but you really need to know what you're doing. And we're going to just share a couple tips that we recommend and pretty much follow, especially as we're creating ad accounts for our clients. So Rob, why don't you just share high level Google search text ads and how that can benefit businesses and maybe types of keywords that they should be looking out for or targeting?
Yeah. So text ads are definitely, or search ads, definitely Google's bread and butter. It's, people typing in keywords to Google search, and then advertisers target those keywords so that their ad appears on the results page. The key concept for search ads is timing them so that you are showing your ad at the searcher's highest moment of highest intent. So some examples there, you see 24/7 tow truck near me. So that near me modifier that we'd add, that kind of paints the picture. You could imagine someone on the side of the road with a flat tire or something at 2 a.m. They're ready to call a tow truck then and there. And that near me modifier and the 24/7 modifier will focus that ad in on that kind of situation someone might be in. And then similarly, gas station open now. Picture someone driving around town on empty, on fumes, and they need a gas station ASAP. Those are the types of modifiers and keywords that we like to add in for local businesses to kind of stand out from the pack and get a little more surgical with search terms rather than just tow truck companies or gas station, etc.
Yeah, that's great. And really the key to, or there's many keys to success on search campaigns, but I would say one of the easiest ones to control is the types of keywords that you go after. So for example, someone who's new to advertising, let's say they own a tow truck company, they might just say, oh yeah, I want to reach anyone who does a search for tow or towing. Now, someone who does search for towing doesn't necessarily mean that they're looking for a tow truck. They might be looking for a tow hitch, and that your keyword is just going to match to that search query. So whenever you're paying for traffic, because that's what you're doing on Google, you're paying for every click, you want to make sure that the traffic you're paying for has the highest level of intent and really matches with the services that you offer. So just be very specific, and Rob, love the verbiage that you use, very surgical. And what you do, and this is it in the keywords that you're selecting, and this is definitely what we do for our clients, just to make sure that the traffic that you're paying for is as qualified as possible. Now, the next element of Google search ads, which is just as important as the keyword selection, is how we optimize based off of data from both Google as well as the business owner. So Rob, I know we could have an hour-long conversation just about this slide alone, but maybe high level, tell us about what should business owners be optimizing towards?
Yeah, this is I've run into it probably too many times where I hear from a client, we worked with another agency in the past and they were great at generating leads, and they would just send us a CSV or an export of all the leads, and then we had to comb through them and separate the good ones from the bad ones. One thing that we like to do at Rise is work closely with our clients to get feedback on leads, and especially local businesses. Kind of meet with them frequently, obviously, and then say, hey, Google reported 10, 20 leads, whatever it is, in this time period. Any feedback on those, just overall, sometimes even going one by one through the leads to see if they were qualified or not. And then we take that feedback from the client back, line it up with the data that Google's giving us, and kind of fill in the blanks and kind of marry the Google data with the on the ground feedback that the clients give us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is, it's marrying two data sets. So Google's going to show a bunch of data of impressions and clicks, click-through rate, cost per click, and leads as well, as long as you set up appropriate conversion tracking. But the business owner is going to have a different data sets of what are the leads that are coming in, and they'll know, are these qualified leads and which percentage of these leads turn into customers. And if you can marry these two data sets, and for any of our clients, we help them through this process because we want to be optimized towards true business outcomes versus just clicks. That's how you can really get a heads up and make Google search ads work with you. But if you're not tying in that business outcome data points, you're just kind of guessing to see what will work and what not. But if you can layer that together, that will absolutely help out. And for anyone who's on this webinar, anyone has questions on search text ads, because again, we could probably spend an hour plus just talking about search text ads alone. Feel free to drop in any questions. But this is the third key strategy that we'd recommend for any local business, search ads. But as we just talked about, make sure you're extremely specific on the types of keywords that you're going after. Specific is terrific, and as they say, which is very true for search ads, and then also making sure that you're monitoring what type of leads and ultimately customers that you're getting out of the program.
Yeah, and local, just to add to that, local businesses are fantastic at that. I've had a client say, I meet with everybody who comes in the office and I ask them how they heard about me. And, I hear them say Google ads, and then he just has his finger on the pulse of the quality of the leads from Google ads because he meets with them directly. So awesome for local businesses to have that feedback, or awesome for us to have that feedback from local businesses. So definitely a awesome feedback loop there that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get to this later on, but we have clients where through our joint efforts with our clients, through good old-fashioned search text ads, we've helped literally transform businesses, and they're hiring and they're growing. But you do need to put in the time and the effort to really get this optimized. And as always, anyone who's listening, we're more than happy to take a look at your program or build it from scratch to spec to be a growth driver for your business. So next, let's go to the last strategy we would recommend, Performance Max. Now, Performance Max, I'm sure most people that are watching this probably have not heard of Performance Max, even though Performance Max has been around for probably at least a year and a half, almost going on 2 years. Very interesting ad product. We are seeing some levels of success, but we prioritize it as number 4 for a reason, because the first 3 are much more proven, and especially for local businesses. But Performance Max is really great at really casting a wide net for a local geo target. And what Performance Max is you upload a bunch of assets, and your business can be present across every Google platform. So YouTube, display, search, discovery, Discover, Gmail, and Maps. And most people who are watching this probably don't even realize that Google owns all these properties. But with a Performance Max campaign, your business can just be pretty much everywhere, touching all of Google's properties. But there's a lot of pros and cons that come with Performance Max, and grateful to have Rob on, who's an expert definitely at local businesses and tied to Performance Max. Rob, I'd love to hear just maybe high level, what are some of the pros and the cons associated with Performance Max, specifically for small businesses?
Yeah, very appealing for a small business because you can have one campaign that shows ads, like you said, in 5 or 6 different placements or Google products. It's kind of a jack of all trades. It relies heavily on Google data, and Google has a ton of data, which is great. And then with a local business, especially, you can run a really concentrated campaign geographically and have, YouTube ads, image ads, or what are called display ads, obviously text ads, and then maps again is a huge one for local. So if you have a brick and mortar location, people can find it. So tons of pros there, and then kind of a trade-off with anything. pros and cons. With relying so much on Google, you kind of lose a little bit of oversight and management of the campaign because it's a little bit of a black box. So you don't always get actionable insights out of the campaign that you can then leverage in another way.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's pros and cons with kind of being a little bit of a more black box product. Pros, it's pretty easy to set up. The con is you just don't get as much data. I mean, we have ways to get more of that data, but still some of it is hidden versus some of the other campaigns where you know exactly which keywords that you're going to serve ads towards, which ads are going to appear, and where they're going to go to. This is a little bit more opaque, but really great for driving awareness and consideration and open up the market. And it looks like, just based off of one of our polls right here, it looks like there's a decent mix of folks who are using performance max campaigns and are not. So it looks like the majority are not, which I'm not too surprised by. It looks like that some are. Anyone who is using it, feel free to drop in any questions in the chat. Happy to review those with you. But yeah, I would recommend to do it as your third strategy on Google. And again, it's really good just for visibility across all of Google's properties. So let's talk a little bit about maybe types of businesses that this is good for and what types of businesses this isn't good for, because with every type of ad product, there's always going to be some businesses that do really well and some that don't. So Rob, why don't you break this down for us?
Yeah, I think the biggest factor for finding success in PMAX is having high quality assets, and specifically images and at least one video, so that you can really take advantage of YouTube and display placements. And then you're also going to want really defined measurement and an optimized website, so that when these probably going to get an influx in website visitors from the PMAX campaign. So you want to make sure your website's ready for that, optimized for the increase in traffic, and optimized kind of flow in your pages, and that the most important information about your business is kind of front and center, or at least easy to find. So FAQs, contact information, things like that.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. You will get a lot of traffic with Performance Max, more traffic than the other ad types that we talked about. But with Performance Max, the level of intent for these visitors is going to be lower. And that's why you just want to make sure that you have a solid website with a solid value proposition and mechanism to get their contact information. Driving people to a site is one side of the equation, but then you also have to have an appropriate landing page, and really that's one of the reasons why we brought in web development under Rise Marketing Group, just because a lot of our clients, we onboard them and we're taking over campaigns, but their website definitely need to be up leveled, and we didn't want to pay for traffic going to an underwhelming website, and so we need to get that into a better spot. So yeah, Rob, this is super helpful of what types of clients that this would be really good for, and definitely make sure you have that optimized website, and also first get on all the other Google ad strategies that we talked about before opening up to a Performance Max. So lastly, or one of the last points that we're going to make is, when you do all of this, you can really own the digital real estate. So Rob, maybe talk to us about the types of benefits that you see when some of the clients that you work with that are doing, let's say, all three or all four of these strategies.
Yeah, kind of think of a scenario where someone totally new to a business, maybe they're looking to renovate their basement, so they head to Google, type in, basement remodeling, basement renovation contractors, etc. If you're a basement or a contractor specializing in that, you can imagine a local service ad could pop up on the results page for that search. Maybe even another text ad for your website shows up below your local service ad. Your business profile could be displayed on the right side of search. So kind of those, you could imagine a kind of owning that front page of the Google results page with just your business. Um, and then add in Performance Max to that with a video campaign on YouTube, as a remarketing element to Performance Max as well. So if they do end up to your website and don't end up signing up or converting on that session, now they're in a remarketing audience, and your display or video ads are kind of following them around their internet journey, and it's kind of keeping your business top of mind in a number of ways across 7 or so Google products.
Yeah, and it's and we put a picture of a Venn diagram intentionally just to showcase that. Let's say B is Google Business, A is search text ads, C is maybe Performance Max or another one, and yeah, you're going to get clients that visit you from each of these pillars in and of itself, but then you're going to have some potential clients that see you on multiple ad platforms, from Google Business to local to search text or Performance Max, and especially when you have that type of overlap, the perception of your business is heightened that much more. So zero advertising, your perception of your business is going to be here. Maybe they were exposed to 1 or 2 ads, then it's a little bit higher. But then once they start to see you pretty much anywhere they look on Google, the perception is going to be very high, and then they're going to look at your reviews, and that's really good. So just stay on Google, and it's actually much easier to do for local businesses that are maybe only advertising within a 15-mile radius. You can really saturate that market and really drive some solid business for you. And as I mentioned before, some of our clients that we've been with for years, I mean, we hear success stories of how Google and a lot of these products that we're sharing has literally transformed their business, and now they're just talking about business growth. How many new hires do they have to make next year and the year after, office space and things like that. And it's extremely rewarding to be their agency just to see this type of growth. But yeah, as we wrap up, Rob, why don't you just kind of walk us through some of the final thoughts that marketers, business owners should be thinking about regarding this presentation?
Yeah. So kind of looking back, I think we've established that vast majority of online journeys start with Google. So if you aren't on Google, you really need to be, and you need to be optimizing kind of for your first impression on Google with a Google business profile, and how your business comes across when someone initially meets you. And then overall, just make it easy for customers to find you and find answers to common questions. The more comfortable, more acquainted someone feels they are with your business, the more likely they are to reach out, sign up, make a purchase, make a store visit, etc. And yeah, just kind of a comprehensive strategy like the one we've talked about helps you stand out from the pack, and sort of nurture. It's important to remember that it's not an instantaneous, someone Googles, someone clicks, and someone signs up. It may take a year or 2 years or several months to kind of nurture someone from lead to customer. So having a comprehensive strategy that has many touch points factored into it is what we find is the most effective.
Yep, it all fuels upon each other. So comprehensive strategy, absolutely. And as we're heading into 2024, this is a really great time for businesses to think about what is their 2024 marketing strategy, and maybe even very first, before you start to activate some of these or prepare it, maybe start off by carving out what your marketing budget is 2024. Whether it's 5% of revenue, 8% of revenue, 10% of revenue, most businesses should be in that range. Cut off that revenue, and then you can start to put together a marketing plan of, all right, I'm going to hire someone to redo our website. We're going to update our Google business profile. I'm going to mix in our business process to get more reviews for it. And then we're going to either bring someone in-house or hire an agency like Rise or someone else to manage these types of campaigns. But this is right now, in particular, is a great time of year just to wrap up 2023 and think about your growth goals for 2024. Carve out a marketing budget and actually put this in motion to drive business 2024 for 2024 and beyond. And as Rob mentioned, what you do today is going to impact your business not tomorrow, but next month and the month after. So as soon as you start to deploy this, things are going to start to open up for you. And every business is unique. If you're a tow truck, you're probably going to get leads pretty quickly, because if someone needs a tow, they need a tow at that exact moment. But if, let's say, you're an attorney or a CPA, they may not engage with you tomorrow, but come tax season, they probably will definitely engage with you. So as we wrap up, as always, love to support anyone who is listening to this now or in the future. Feel free to reach out to us. We'll put our website in the chat. It's also risemkg.com. Rob, really grateful to have you join this webinar. Thank you so much. And anyone who is watching, make sure you subscribe, just because we are continuing to put out live streams. We have an ambitious goal of doing a live stream every other week. We're getting great feedback on it and having a lot of fun doing so. So definitely subscribe, because we're going to be rolling out a lot of other great content in 2024 and beyond. So I appreciate it, and until next time.